Yes, folks, Australia has gone completely nuts. On the back of Rugby Australia's debacle over Israel Folau's comments, the AFL introduced behavioural awareness officers to walk around telling Australian rules fans how to behave. And to make matters worse, these officers were immigrants. How dumb can the PC police get? But first, the media are still targeting Israel Folau.
Sacked rugby union star Israel Folau has sparked more controversy, making new comments about homosexual people during a sermon to his congregation. Folau told in a church in Sydney the devil is trying to instill homosexuality and gender fluidity into society. The 30-year-old took aim at young transgender people undergoing treatment.
You know, they're allowing young kids in primary school to be able to have the permission to change their gender if they want, by taking away the permission of their parents. Now they're trying to take control as a government to make those decisions for young kids that, you know, basically that are 16 years old or younger. They don't even know what they're doing. But this is the thing, this is what the devil is trying to do.
Yes, so when he refers to the devil, I assume he means the left, because it is they who are taking away parents' rights and pushing this transgender nonsense onto children. Now to the AFL debacle.
I'm going to talk a bit of AFL right now, because there's been a lot of focus, a lot of mockery really over these behavioural awareness officers that have been deployed, at least in some stadiums, to keep an eye on, well, overzealous fans. Today, amid a mounting outcry, the AFL Chief Executive Gil McLachlan apologised, kind of, for what's been happening here. Have a look.
No one at the AFL is trying to stop our crowds being passionate or fans barracking.
So why did you introduce these behavioural awareness officers in the first place?
No one. As I said last night, it is devastating to think that our fans believe something has changed that is trying to limit their enjoyment of the footy. However, the AFL has a dual responsibility. We must also keep our game safe and family friendly. Every fan must feel they can express themselves, but likewise, every fan has a right to feel safe. We have been the family game, a passionate game. I won't apologise for making footy a safe place, but we need to ensure we get the balance right. I'm apologising for the people who are going along to the football to have a day out who feel that they haven't been able to do that. They feel the security is some way impinging on them. They feel that actually they're not able to be themselves when they're just enjoying a game of football. And that is the feedback we've had in the last days.
All right, but what does that mean in terms of practical change? What's actually going to change at the footy? Well, these behavioural awareness officers, Gil McLachlan says this is really up to the stadiums to decide how they do these things, but his view is clear.
My personal view is they're not right and they should go. That's part of the discussions we can have with our venues. I mean, that is a look that actually has a challenge for supporters. I accept that. That's what we have to do, is have conversations with our venues and the police and their security teams to work out how we can modify that to make sure that people don't feel threatened.
Well, let's bring in Caitlin Barry, Fox Sports News reporter, for more on this. Caitlin, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Does that comment mean these behavioural awareness officers will be no more? Are they going to go?
Yeah, good afternoon, David. Well, I don't think you'll be seeing those blue vests rolling around Marvel or at the MCG in the weeks to come. I think those are going in the bargain bin because there's been such an outcry.
So, behavioural awareness officer, oh God.
Of really opposition, to the behavioural awareness officers, these people who were marching up and down, pacing up and down the aisles during the round 13 matches and really telling off anyone who was barracking too loud.
Yeah, guys, shut up, but enjoy yourself.
who was just cheering and making the football really what it's all about. And Gillon McLachlan earlier today reiterated that the fans are such a big part of the AFL. They really are the AFL. And he was peddling the message sort of in a politician-like way that he didn't want to drive away those fans, and he wants them to turn out in droves come round 14 this weekend. So Gillon McLachlan there apologising for the increased security, but kind of not wanting to place the blame on anyone. He wouldn't accept the blame for fans feeling intimidated on behalf of the AFL. He also wouldn't place the blame on Marvel Stadium staff, and that's where the problem really stemmed from, was Marvel Stadium over the last few weeks. Now, this problem's been ongoing for nearly 5 weeks now. We saw in the Collingwood and Carlton game back in round 8 that there was that pretty disgusting brawl between some fans, and that's when the heightened security really happened. Gillon McLachlan today said there was sort of heightened security from the outset, from round 1, but we've seen it really become visible over the last 5 weeks. And then we saw the fan be ejected, or the Carlton fan be ejected from Marvel Stadium for umpire abuse in round 12. And, of course, over the last few weeks, we've been waiting for the AFL to really address the issue. And Gillon McLachlan kind of did that today. He probably didn't appease fans as much as he wanted. He certainly didn't appease the media, because journalists were just hammering back questions at him of who was going to take the blame, whose issue this was, and who actually initiated this crackdown, because the AFL have said all along they didn't initiate it. So Gillon McLachlan really wanting a balance to be struck, and he had a meeting with Marvel Stadium management last night to try and strike that balance.
And Caitlin, Gillon McLachlan wasn't the only one apologising today. Jeff Kennett, who is one of the fierce critics of these behavioural officers, had to issue his own apology this afternoon.
Oh, I think that was squeezed out of him very, very reluctantly. Of course, he issued that kind of apology on Twitter, saying that if it offended anyone, his comments that really had racist undertones. He said it yesterday. He then repeated the same racist message on breakfast television this morning, saying that the security officers were new arrivals to Australia and wouldn't know the game as well as someone who had played it. And
Yes, folks, that was stupid, giving those jobs to immigrants who wouldn't have a clue about the game. But what gets me, folks, is this: why were these so-called behavioural awareness officers put there in the first place? Now, if a scuffle breaks out, that's what the police are for.